Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Scarlet Witch against Expert Rhino. So pull up a chair and let's see if she can do it. All right, we do have Scarlet Witch today in her starter deck that she comes with Justice. So we're going to see that today, and she's going against Expert Rhino. And I've got everything set up. The breaking and taking side scheme's in here like it's supposed to be. And here's my starting hand. I'm going to do my mulligan. And I think I'm going to keep my ally. I'll keep my ally. I'll keep my magic shield in case I can put it in. And then I'm going to discard the other three and draw back up to 6, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm going to put speed in with the 2 Power of Justice cards I have here. That's good. And he'll come in with 4. And his ability, since he's a new card, his ability is that he has a response after he thwarts. You ready him, and he thwarts for 2 and has an attack of 1. I'm going to use Spiritual Meditation to draw 2 cards, and then I draw 2, and then I have to discard 1. And it says here, draw 2 cards, choose, and discard 1 card from your hand. So it doesn't have to be one of the cards I drew. And it's not gonna be one of the cards I drew. I'm gonna discard Crisis Averted. And I am gonna go ahead and put the Magic Shield in with her Hex Bolt. And so now she can defend, hopefully she can defend, and Speed can do stuff for me on her next turn. And he's gonna help me right now too. He's going to thwart for 2 to remove 2 threat from here, drop him to 3. I'll just have Scarlet Witch thwart for 2 so that I can use him more than... And so, you know, I'm just going to do that, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to ready and draw her to 5. All right, so the start of the main phase, 1 threat here. He's supposed to attack. I do have the Magic Shield, so I think I'll just let Scarlet Witch go ahead and take this. So it's going to be 3, 4... And and the Magic Shield, it's a hero interrupt. So when a friendly character would take any amount of damage, discard Magic Shield, prevent 3 of that damage. So this is a nice card because it only costs 1. It doesn't have any kind of limit on how many can be in play or how many can be triggered when you take damage. Also, it's when a friendly character would take damage, so you could use it for an ally or another player if you're playing multiplayer. So it's pretty nice, and it can be used against indirect damage because it's not a defense card. So you don't have to be the target of an attack. But I am using it here for damage, as an attack. So she's going to prevent 3 of that 4, and it's going to drop her to 9. And then the encounter card will be Gang Up. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Well, I was afraid it was going to be something like that. And I'll just have Scarlet Witch take it again because I want to use speed to help some. So 3, just 3. So she'll take 3 more damage, and that's going to drop her down to 6. So not too bad considering that she got attacked twice. And we are back to Scarlet Witch. And I am going to have Speed thwart for 1 or thwart for 2 to remove the 1 threat from here. Then I'm going to ready him because he thwarted. I'm going to have him attack just for 1 on Rhino, so that's going to drop him to 14. And then I'm going to put another Magic Shield into play with Warp Reality. And then I'm going to play Swift Retribution, which it's a risky card. It says hero action, the villain schemes, deal 4 damage to the villains. You have to be careful. You don't want the scheme. You don't want to lose to the scheme, but she can still thwart for 2. And so, and I probably should have done this backwards. I probably shouldn't have had speed thwart yet, but oh well. I'm going to play that with multitasking. So the villain schemes, he schemes for 1. Oh, 2, 3, 4. So a lot more than I was hoping for, but that's all right. But he schemes and deal 4 damage to the villain, so it's going to drop him from 14 to 10. And usually it's good to try to wait to get a confuse on him before you do this. And she does have Hex Bolts, I can do that, but I didn't have a Hex Bolt, but whatever. So he schemes for 4. She's going to thwart for 2 to remove 2 of that, drop it back down to 2, and that's it. So we're going to ready and draw her back to 5. All right, so one threat on the main scheme is going to bring it up from 2 to 3. And then he's going to attack again. I'll just have speed take this one. It's going to be 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then the encounter card will be a Hydra Bomber. So when a Hydra Bomber comes into play, place one threat on the main scheme, or you take 2 damage. She's already at 6. I'll just put a threat on the main scheme. It's going to bring it up to 4 out of 7. And he comes in with 2, and we are back to Scarlet Witch. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is use Spiritual Meditation to draw 2 cards and then choose and discard 1 card from my hand. And by the way, you have to have the Mystic trait to be able to use this. And she has the Mystic trait on both sides of her identity card, so that's good. So I'm going to draw 2, turn the tide, and the crest. And I'll discard 1, which will be turn the tide. And let's see here. I would like to get her crest in, but I also would like to get Wiccan in to start helping out. All right, I think I am going to put Wiccan into play. Go ahead and get him in. And I'll put him in with Turn the Tide and Molecular Decay, I guess. Or actually, let's use multitasking. Turn the Tide, multitasking. All right, he'll come in with 3. He's going to thwart for 1. And when he thwarts, after Wiccan thwarts, you discard the top card of the encounter deck. And for each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So discard the top, it is 1. So it's going to be 1 damage to the Hydra Bomber. And that's unfortunate. I wish I could have gotten the crest in to increase it. I wanted to get him out of the way now. Well, Scarlet Witch could take him out, but then I'll have 3 threat on the scheme. So I'll just have her, I will have her take him out. Maybe we won't see an advance or anything. So that's going to be it. We're going to ready and draw to 5. Okay, so 1 threat on the main scheme up to 4. And Rhino is going to attack. And I want to keep Wiccan in the game, so I'm going to have her defend this. So it's going to be 3. Just 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1. I'll just let her take it and leave her magic shield in. Leave the magic shield in for now. Okay, and then the encounter card is Explosion. If Bomb Scare is in play, it isn't. So if Bomb Scare is not in play, this card gains Surge. So it will surge into Sandman. All right, he comes in with a tough and 4 health. And then we will go back to Scarlet Witch. All right, first thing, I'm going to use Spiritual Meditation again to draw 2 cards, choose and discard a card. So let's see, 1, 2, and then I'll choose and discard a card. Here's his Order and Chaos. That's nice. That can go with Quicksilver. But I actually think that's the card I'll discard. So we're back to 5. Before we do anything else, we're going to have Wiccan Thwart for 1 to remove a threat from the scheme, and then discard the top card. And he will do 1 damage to Sandman to remove the tough off of that. All right. And I really would like to go ahead and get Sandman out of the way with Molecular Decay, and I could do that and still have Quicksilver and her crest. I'm going to get those in too, but I think the best thing is to use Molecular Decay with energy and multitasking for 2 and 3 to get him out of the way. So deal 5 damage to an enemy, discard the top 2 cards in the encounter deck, but it won't matter. I have to do this still. So it's a Hydra Mercenary, and I'm tough, but I still have to do it. And then for each boost, you deal 1 additional damage, but that's enough to take him out. And that's going to be it. So I will hold on to those 2 cards and ready and draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main phase. 1 threat on the scheme. He's going to attack, but Wiccan's going to take it for 3, 4, and then the encounter card will be Assault. So she'll defend, I guess. He'll attack for 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and I'll use this to prevent it. So she takes no damage. But now she's vulnerable, and we are back to Scarlet Witch. All right, well, as much as I hate to do it, I don't hate to put Quicksilver into play, but I'm going to have to do it, getting rid of Agatha Harkness and the crest. Because I don't think I can flip right now, because there's too much threat on the scheme. I've got to be able to thwart some. And he was the only card really that could do it that was in my hand. So he'll come in with 4. He's going to thwart for 1, which will drop him to 3. Then he ready, and that's his ability. You can ready him once per phase. Sorry, and then I'll thwart again. So drop this from 4 to 2, and I will just ready Scarlet Witch and draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main phase. This is going to go up to 3, and Rhino will attack, and I'm going to have Quicksilver take this for 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then the encounter card is Slipping Sanity. So this is her obligation, one of them. She has 2 obligations in this deck, and you can exhaust to get rid of it, flip to exhaust to get rid of it, which is what I'm going to do, but then discard the top 5 cards in the encounter deck. For each star icon in the boost area discarded this way, place 1 threat on the main scheme and then discard this obligation. That is not cool, so I will flip and exhaust to get that out of the game, and we are back to Wanda. Alright, I'm not going to stay here long. I'm going to flip back to Scarlet Witch. And I've got 2 Hex Bolts. I'm going to use them. So there's 1 Hex Bolt with Strength. And so we discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. And then based on what gets discarded, for each one of the 3 cards, you look at the boost icons. If there are 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. If there's 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If there's 2, draw a card. If there's 3 or more, place a status card on the character. And I'm hoping to get a status card on this. So let's see. We'll discard 3. 1, 2, there we go. 3. All right, so I got a 0 with Assault. So that does 2 damage to him, down to 8. And then I got a 3, so I can place a status card on a character. I'm going to stun him. And then a 2 lets me draw a card. All right, Magic Shield, good. And so those will, I set them off to the side so I can see what I was doing, but they go in the discard pile. I'm going to go ahead and use the other Hex Bolt with Genius and discard the same thing. So we got 1, that's going to let me draw a card. 2, that one will let me draw a card. And then 3, that removes 2 threat from a scheme. So I draw 2 cards because of the 2 icons. And then I remove 2 threat from a scheme. So that's going to drop it down to 1. And these will go in the discard pile. And this will go back. And now I got a hand of 4. So let's see what I want to do here. All right, I'm going to put in the Magic Shield with Crisis Averted. And then at the end of the turn, I'm going to discard Swift Retribution. I don't want him to scheme again yet. So I'll just discard that, hold on to Chaos Magic, and then I'll ready her and draw. Let's see, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have to deal with an extra encounter card. I'll shuffle up the deck and then draw up, and we'll move to the villain phase. All right, so we have drawn up. We'll go to the villain phase. 2 here. He's stunned, so he won't attack. But I've got to deal with 2 encounter cards. The first one is Stampede. This card, so Rhino attacks. If a character is damaged by this attack, that character is stunned. All right, she'll defend that. It's going to be 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 2 is 3. I'll use the shield to prevent it so she doesn't take any damage and she isn't stunned. And then False Alarm means that she is confused. So a rough go for her, but we are back to Scarlet Witch. And I'm going to use Spiritual Meditation to draw 2 cards and then discard a card. So let's see, 1, 2, and I'll discard one of the Crisis Averted cards. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Molecular Decay, but I'm going to play Chaos Magic. Chaos Magic, play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal that card's printed resource cost. And the reason why I'm doing that is because pretty sure there's still 2 advances here, but still in the deck. More than likely one will come out, and I want to get rid of those because I need to flip. She's only got 5 health, no way to defend herself. So I'm hoping when I discard the 2 cards that I'll discard at least one of them, maybe both. But you deal 5 damage to an enemy. So that's going to drop him from 8 to 3. and then discard 2 cards. And then for each boost icon discard this way, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. So there's 2, and there's one of our advances. So 2 more damage, which will drop him down to 1. And then I am going to have to flip. So I'll flip her to Scarlet Witch. And then I'm going to use her ability because I want to get rid of the Swift Retribution and Crisis Averted. So I'm going to discard those 2 to draw 2. Another Swift Retribution, but a Strength. All right. And then I'll ready and draw to 6. Okay, so start of the main phase. This goes up to 3. And then he will scheme for 1, 2, which will bring it up to 5. And let's hope this isn't in advance. It probably is. Of course it is. Of course it's in advance. All right, he'll scheme for 1. Oh, just for 1. I got lucky there. So he's up to 6. And I got very lucky there on that draw. So she lives another day. We're back to her. I am going to heal her though from 5 back up to 8. And then I'm going to put her crest in, which is something I should have done earlier, but I was doing other things. I mean, I'm not playing real optimally. I'm still trying to learn her, and this is her starter deck, which usually the starter decks aren't that great. No excuse for making bad plays, but still, it is a starter deck. But I got her crest in. I'm going to put the magic shield in with Swift Retribution, and no, I'm not going to use her alter ego ability. Then I'm going to flip, and I keep forgetting to use her Chaos Control ability, where I can, it says when a boost icon on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. And in the games I've played, I usually forget about that, and that's what I'm saying. I'm still trying to learn her, but hopefully I won't forget, because I want to be able to stun him right now, and I also got to get threat off the scheme or I'll lose. So let's use our Hex Bolt with Strength, and we're going to discard. I only get to discard 2 cards because there's only 2 left. So we've got a 2 and a 0. So let's see here how I want to do that. And it is going to accelerate. Put an acceleration token. Let me shuffle up his deck. And before I shuffle, these are technically supposed to be discarded. So I'll shuffle in a second. But I've got to remove some threats. So I think I'll use the crest to make this 0 boost one into a 1, so that I can remove 2 threat from a scheme. So it'll go from 6 down to 4. And then I'll draw a card with the other one, Crisis Averted. All right, so that's it. Let me shuffle up the encounter deck. Hexbolt comes back, and then we'll go over to Rhino's turn. Okay, so we are back, and we'll put 2 on, so it's going to go 4 back up to 6. And he will attack, and she's just going to take it this time because I do have a shield, so it's 3, 4. I'll use the shield to prevent 3 of that, so she takes 1 down to 7. And then the encounter card will be Bomb Scare. So we got another acceleration token coming. 3 on that. And we are back to Scarlet Witch. Okay, I've got to get I got to get threat off this scheme. I know I don't want Bomb Scare just sitting here, but I got to get threat off. So I'm going to fort for 2 with her to get rid of the Confuse. And then use Crisis Averted with Heroic Intuition, Magic Shield, and Multitasking to remove 6 threat from the main scheme. So, and that's it. So I'll ready and draw to 5. Okay, so now at the start of his phase, we'll put 3 threat on, 1 for the regular one, 1 for the acceleration, and 1 for Bomb Scare. He's going to attack for 3. I'll just have her take it 3, 4, 5, drop her to 2. And then the encounter card is Hydra Mercenary. He comes in as a guard with 3 health, and we're back to Scarlet Witch. And I'm going to put Quicksilver into play with the other 4 resources that I have. He'll come in with 4. And he's going to attack for 2 on the mercenary. Ready and attack for 2 more. That's going to drop him down to 2 to get rid of the mercenary. She's going to thwart for 2 on the main scheme to drop it down to 1. And I really need to flip, but this is going to go up to 4, and there's a good chance he could scheme out. I'll just stay here. Quicksilver can block for me. This is not looking good. I'll draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main phase. It goes up to 4 here. Out of 7, he will attack, and I am going to have Quicksilver take it for 4 damage. All right. And then the encounter card is Sandman. Now I can use Warp Reality to cancel this, and then I would discard cards based on the number of boost icons. I think I am going to do that. So I'm going to use Power of Justice to cancel to play Warp Reality. So when an encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it. And discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal the number of boost icons on the card. So that's 2. So there you go. 1, 2. And we are back to Scarlet Witch. And I'm going to use Spiritual Meditation to draw 2. And then I discard a card. I'll discard Order and Chaos because I don't have Quicksilver anymore. I'll put in Wiccan with Speed and Hexbolt. He'll come in with 3. He's going to thwart for 1. Here off the main scheme, I guess. And then discard a card and deal damage, 1 damage to an enemy equal to the boost icons, which is 2. So that's going to knock Rhino down to 0 finally. And that's going to advance him to a side 3, where he comes in with toughness. And I get stunned. Scarlet Witch will get stunned, but he comes in with 16 health. And let's see. I could thwart and then flip and just hope for the best. Or I could... all right, I am going to thwart for 2 on the main scheme to drop it down to 1. And then I'm going to flip because at some point I've got to heal. And she can use her crest. It's just an interrupt. It doesn't say hero interrupt or alter ego. So she can use her crest to reduce the number of boost icons when he draws a boost to scheme. She can do that to reduce it by 1. And I may have to try to stay in the game. So we're going to ready and draw to 6. All right, so let's see. It goes up to 4 out of 7. He's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3. And so I am going to use the crest to reduce that by 1. So he'll scheme just for 2, which will bring it up to 6 out of 7. And then the encounter card is I'm tough. He's already got it. So that means when he draws this card, if he's already got a tough card, it surges into breaking and taking. Another side scheme. All right, everything's just falling apart on me. So there we go with that. And we are back to Wanda. She's going to have to heal. I mean, I got to heal. So up to 5. And then I can discard 2 cards and draw 2. I think I will. Well, first of all, let me put in Agatha here with one of the Turn the Tides. And then I'm going to exhaust her to look at the top 3 cards in my deck, add 1 of them to my hand, and put the other 2 on the bottom of my deck in any order. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'll keep Spiritual Meditation, put the other 2 at the bottom. Okay, and then I'll play Spiritual Meditation to draw 2 and then discard a card. All right, so I got to discard a card. I'll just discard Heroic Intuition. So then I'll flip. And Wiccan will thwart for 1 here. And then he will deal 2 damage to Rhino to remove the tough. And then I'm going to do multitasking with energy to remove 2 threat from a scheme, and I didn't pay with a mental resource. So I can only remove 2 threat from one scheme, which will be the main scheme, to drop it down from 5 to 3. All right, I'm used up all my 3s that I have out, so we'll just do 1s. Hopefully the game will be over here soon, put me out of my misery. And then after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from his scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. It's an attack. I'm going to play that mainly just to knock the stun off. And so we'll ready Scarlet Witch and move on into the villain phase. I won't have enough, so I'm going to have to deal with 2 encounter cards. Hopefully one will be in advance, so it'll end the game. And then I'll shuffle my deck and draw to 5. Okay, so we're back to the villain phase. It goes from 3 up to 6. Okay, up to 6. Wiccan's going to take this. He attacks for 4, 5, so he's gone. And now I got to deal with 3 encounter cards, actually, because I have Breaking and Taken out. So this one is a Mercenary. This one is I'm Tough, which gives him a tough status card. And this one is he heals 4 damage, but he can't. So it will surge into Stampede. Rhino attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, it's stunned. I'm just going to let her take it. It's 4. There's an advance, so she drops down to 1. And I'm stunned, and I live to fight another day. But I don't think there's much I can do here. This Hydra Mercenary comes in with 3, and we are back to Scarlet Witch. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play in Hex Bolt with Swift Retribution and Molecular Decay. You know what I'm trying to say. And then discard the top 3 cards. That, no boost, 2 boosts, and 2 boosts. Okay, now the thing about Hex Bolt is it is not an attack. It's a spell, superpower. So the 2 damage that I deal, I can deal the damage even though I'm stunned. Because again, it's not an attack. All stun does is prevent an attack. So I can actually even bypass the Hydra Mercenary. And why not? So I'm going to deal 2 damage to Rhinos, which will remove the tough. And then I'm going to use the crest to make one of the 2 boost icons 3 to stun Rhino. And then I get to draw a card. So I'll draw a card. It's Warp Reality. But the game's over because there's 6 on the scheme. I have no way to threat. So I'll just ready and draw to 5. And then it's going to go from 6 up to 9. And that is going to be it. All right, well, that's Scarlet Witch with her starter deck against Rhino on Expert. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you did, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell because I'm going to have more videos with Scarlet Witch and built decks and also videos for other games. And so until I put out any more videos, I'll save you a seat at the table. Thanks for watching.